Hi, we're live.
Oh, we're in it.
We're in it.
We're in the thick of it.
We are. We are.
Awesome.
We're
Hi,
here, we're
guys.
here, we're here.
Jeff's been excited all day for this one.
Yeah, tons of excitement.
Whatever.
That's your excited face, right?
First of
That's the
all,
only face
she's been
we
more
got.
excited than I've been excited, so I don't want to
That's
hear it.
right.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Woodstock 99. I've never actually known anybody that's been there.
And this all came from the documentary, right? Where it was kind of like the one that you saw. What was it on Netflix or something?
Yeah, because I wanted to go. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I was a senior in high school and I had just graduated. That summer was the summer that I graduated high school and I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Um, and then I realized where it was. It was in Rome, and that was like 8 hours away from me driving. Um, and I don't think I was confident enough to that was MapQuest. Like I would have printed out 8 freaking hours of,
Did MapQuest? Oof.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it would have been like 15 pages of how to get there. So
But would you have had MapQuest or would you have had an atlas, an actual map because of your grandfather and how your grandfather used to travel?
oh no, I do know. Listen. I know how to travel because of I know how to travel because by Atlas because of him.
Yeah.
But definitely by then we had MapQuest. It was so I would have just printed out MapQuest.
Did he have the big like paper map or did you have the book by then when your grandfather was
both?
both?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
you had the one that you could turn. It looked like a book, and that was underneath the seat, and then the paper one was folded up in the glove compartment.
Yeah.
And you could pull out either one.
That's so funny.
But
Whoops, wrong one.
They're labeled. They're
I know.
labeled.
I got it.
New equipment, guys.
I
New
got
equipment.
it. I got
New
it.
Stuff. New
It's
stuff.
all good. It's all good.
But yeah, so I definitely had wanted to go. My interest was, and I mean, the bands that were there at the time were crazy, and of course, you know, at the time, Total Feminist wanted to see Sheryl Crow. Definitely wanted to see Alanis Morissette.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
But then yeah, like Wyclef was there, and you know, couple of who was it, Bush, and you had Red Hot Chili Peppers, you had like Limp Bizkit, like it was all the popular stuff at the time. So of course I wanted to go, but I don't think I was worldly enough yet to be able to drive all the way up there by myself or take the train or whatever. It would have taken me 24 hours by train. But
this is such a good lineup.
Yeah.
DMX, The Offspring, Corn, Bush, Sheryl Crow, Kid Rock, Wyclef Jean.
Keep going. What's at the bottom there?
Keep going.
Keep going. Go down. Okay.
What?
A lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, Jewel, Creed, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Al Green, Willie. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff I wanted to see.
Oh, Rage Against the Machine.
Dave Matthews Band. Like,
Yep.
I mean, the lineup was incredible.
Oh, DMX would have been a good fight.
What?
So DMX would have been a good fight.
Would have been a good fight?
Like good fight music?
Oh,
to get it going?
Well, yeah, you guys. Well, we talked about this once before. You guys used to go to the K Rockathon all the time. Was that what happened? Like a good band came on, y'all just fought? Like,
I mean,
I did not.
Not a fight, like mosh pits kind of thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I did break up a couple of drunk fights, but yeah.
Well, I mean, they did the whole surfboard like mosh pit where they pass people around.
Oh, crowd surf.
Yeah, crowd surf. There you go.
I always wanted to. Did you ever crowd surf, Jeff?
Yes.
You did? I always wanted to, but I was scared that I was going to be the one that they would drop from because of my experience of having so many people dropped on me. But what happens is that the crowd is good until the crowd's not good. And then when the crowd is separated at all of a sudden people just drop their hands and then people drop. And I had so many people drop like right on my shoulders and whatever. So I always wanted to crowd surf, but I never.
It was worse. There was the people there looking to throw crowd surfers.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, people who would see them coming, it's great, but then there's the people who just push you up in a direction.
Yep.
So people that weren't expecting a body now have a body on their heads, or they do the same thing and throw you into a mosh pit. So over the edge where they try to like bring you around, they're like, nope, you're going in. They'll throw you right in the middle. That's where it got worse. So yeah, no.
Nope. I never got the courage to do it. So
I did it a couple times. Almost died once and decided I wasn't doing it anymore.
You almost died a lot at these
Shush your goddamn
I'm just saying.
mouth.
I would just be absolutely weirded out at the fact that people are touching you everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like, I mean, listen, better than falling in your face.
Everywhere.
Better than falling in your face.
And the worst part was when women would come in pretty much nothing, or they'd come in shorts.
It was hot.
Or skirts. And I mean, they were literally being lifted up. Like the hand was between the legs, the butt was up. Like for me, I always wore jeans. Like,
listen, I wore 2 pairs of jeans.
I know. Protection, right?
Hot and sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was it. It was definitely an interesting bunch. Oh.
Yeah, and so like I've never really kind of known anybody that actually went. Like, I mean, I had friends, we all talked about it, we were all thinking about it. You know what I mean? We were kind of trying to half make plans like, yay, the summer before we go off to college, and I had to be, on my best behavior, but also just wanted to go have fun. But I've never actually known anybody. So to get to talk to, Rainman, who had probably the most unprecedented access to behind the scenes of Woodstock, like, I mean, holy crap. It was insane.
Yeah, it'll be cool to hear his stories.
I want to know because I know what they put out in the press, and then I know what they showed in the documentary behind the scenes. So, and it's fairly different. And I know what the guys that made, like the guy that ran it and produced it and whatever, I know what he kept saying to the press, and what the governor or the mayor kept saying to the press is completely different than what they showed from the people they interviewed that were there. It was absolutely different.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see what his take on it was, because not only was he was there for work, and there probably as a fan a little bit too. So
yeah, for sure.
I'm kind of excited to know, but
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
None of y'all weren't old enough to. Yeah, no, y'all weren't old enough to even like recognize
baby
at the time. Yeah.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Nope. That was later. We started going to them later. So,
but did a lot of those same bands like were they the ones that were at like K-Rockathon and stuff? So you kind of had like a similar experience, but not like the whole the Woodstock experience that they tried.
Some of them played at some of the K-Rock shows. I think I've seen Kid Rock at a K-Rock show.
Limp Bizkit was at one. Korn was at one.
Yeah, one of the earlier ones I went to, they were at.
You saw Kid Rock at a.
Yeah, he was at one of them, I think. I believe so.
Do I remember?
Him or somebody like ended the show and they did like 3 encore songs. And I was like, guys, I'm tired. We gotta go. And they just kept playing.
Wasn't that Limp Bizkit?
One of the two. One of the two just kept playing. They're ending the show, and they just kept playing songs. Because it was supposed to be the end, and they just kept playing and playing and playing. It was so bad.
I don't know if I spelled that right. Don't quote me.
I'm looking at that. Insane Clown Posse was at the show.
I was wondering if they were.
I don't think they were.
They weren't at Woodstock. I don't know if they were at a K-Rockathon.
No, they were not at Woodstock.
Okay.
Well, at least Woodstock 99. No, they weren't there.
Okay.
But like, I went to a Dave concert separately, and I still say to this day, like, there's the difference in, the difference in a K-Rockathon versus a Dave Matthews show. Like, there's no comparison. It's just so much more chill. Dave's vibe obviously is way different than the big, huge, heavy metal rock bands and whatever. But
we're all heavy.
Yeah, most of them.
I mean, well, that's what I'm curious too, because they tried to use like Red Hot Chili Peppers to calm the crowd. They tried to use like Fred Durst to calm the crowd. Why wouldn't you try to use the Dave Matthews Band to calm the crowd? Or like, I mean, Bush they wanted Bush to calm the crowd, and Bush was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then he did manage to actually do it.
Yeah.
But why are you ending the show with Red Hot Chili Peppers and then just being like, hey, or Fred Durst and be like, hey, like calm the crowd. And then he goes out there and plays, what song was it? It was like Break Stuff. Like that was literally the name of the song, was Break Stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it makes sense.
And that's how you're calming a crowd that wants to pull everything down.
Yeah.
And is basically thirsty, drunk, high, and tired, hasn't slept. Like,
yeah.
No, usually the drunk part gets everybody.
I mean, it gets bad. That's more of my question.
Because it was hot.
It was hot. It was gross. It was just
people sweaty and breathing on you. Beer
and
getting
like
spilled everywhere.
Bottles of water were like $5
they
in
still
the
are.
90s. Like, who's paying $5 for
people
a bottle
get
of water?
water to survive?
Yeah.
Oh, they will.
I have.
Yeah.
But what the problem was is that they had all brought food, and then they didn't allow food on the campgrounds.
Yes,
you had to
they
buy
make their money.
Right. Yeah. So that was part of the demise. Like, that was part of what destroyed what happened.
They had to pay all the entertainment too, not just the venue, not just
make their money.
They have to make money too. And the only way to do that, I mean, that was for K-Rockathon, that was for DFB, like that was for all those concerts. Like they wouldn't even let you bring in just one bottle of water. Like you had to chug that
you couldn't do it for K-Rockathon either?
No.
I chugged my water beforehand when I got in, so I had a bunch and didn't need a lot. But
yeah.
Could you leave it in the car and run back and forth?
I mean, there was a couple of K-Rock shows you could if you bought the special wristband for like a dumbass amount of money.
Yeah.
Let you go back out in and out, but I don't think a lot of people bought that because it was way too much fucking money.
But also too, you have to think about like where your car is parked. So you're going to spend all that time to go back to the car to get a sip of water to come back in or whatever. A lot of us had to park and walk. Like it was a troop to get to the campgrounds, to the actual show stages versus where we parked. So it was a nice long walk. So you were kind of spending that money. I mean, I didn't have to spend that money because my brother was there.
Right.
But I was also taking advantage of that.
So like, did that little wristband like get you like in the back room with the bands? And
no, that's something different. That was just letting you could leave the grounds and come back. And they knew you paid and you did your thing. Some people only went to tailgate and just hang out in the parking lot the whole time. They didn't go to the show. You can
still hear the show.
They would just chill out there,
for parking and go sit in the
like Jello shots or some dumb shit, and then they'll hang out and drink.
Yeah, we would do that on the way into the campgrounds. We would buy the Jello shots as we go.
Oh wow!
And then by the time you get in there, you're like 4 or 5 to 6 Jello shots in, and then it's like, oh, I need some water. So yep.
And then they made their money off the way. Yeah. I mean, I think that's really what led to it, was just the fact that they couldn't have their own food in there and they had to pay for it. I think if they didn't do that, it probably might have ended up being a better experience. But I mean, I get why the vendors did it, but also then you had an angry mob that broke all your crap and stole all your crap. So
yeah,
how much did you make versus how much did they destroy? Like, they pulled a whole tower down. Like,
oh geez,
you know what I mean? So
yeah.
And they like, they had all the big delivery trucks in the back, and like the crowd set all those on fire too. So it was, and I mean, they exploded. Like, those trucks just exploded, were eviscerated.
Yeah.
So how much money did you lose there too? Because it was like 8 or 9 semis back there full of crap that they just lit on fire and watched them explode. I mean, people got hurt.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
yeah,
it was
I don't remember any of that kind of stuff at K-Rockathon.
Yeah, because I'm sure they probably learned from Woodstock 99 and didn't like
either. Well, yeah, they didn't have anything that long. They didn't have that much space to hold that many people.
Yeah, how long was K-Rockathon? Was it just 2 days?
No, it was
it was a day. It was a day.
Oh, yeah,
it was only one day. Yeah.
By the
end,
it
was a long day, but it was just a day.
No, Woodstock was what, Thursday to Friday?
Ooh, that's a lot.
Like, I mean,
that's a lot of partying.
And they're all staying there. It's not like new people are coming in every single day, and you're having the same concert. It's the same concert for 4 days, and the same however 100,000 people are there for it in the sun with no shirt, shoes, water.
And I'm sure that the security was better at the K-Rockathon than.
Well, they were better at DFB than anything.
Well, DFB was smaller though.
That's why, and they were in the crowd.
Yeah.
Security was.
Yeah, they were literally hanging out in the crowd.
So they were making sure that anything got out of hand, they were like on top of it. I think K-Rock, they're on the edges, so you can get to them if you can bring people to the edges and the fence. But they wouldn't be out there in the crowd trying to get themselves
at the K-Rockathon. No.
But they were there. They worked. They did what they needed to do.
Yeah. It was more of the security in the beginning, like when you first got in. It was the searching. It was making sure you didn't have anything on you. Like we couldn't even bring our belts in, right? When we used to wear those studded belts.
People brought the studded ones. That's why. You imagine getting smacked with somebody swinging the thing around?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like we had to take like the studded belts off. We had to do all that. I
mean, it had to be like a normal belt.
Yeah.
I think even then, I don't think I wore one. I don't remember or not.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I went with no shirt and just 2 pairs of jeans to like literally make it really quick in and out. I'm not trying to be searched all day. Like it's too hot for a shirt. I know I'm taking it off anyways.
Yeah. I don't even think you had your phone, did you?
I didn't. No, I left everything. I left my glasses and my phone in the glove box of whatever car I was in because I was not going to be on it. I'm like, there's no way. I'm going to break it. I lost my first pair of glasses at DFP, the first one I went to, when I blacked out in that one. That was fun.
You guys never put your phones in like plastic baggies and took them in like that so they didn't get wet and gross and destroyed? That's what we did.
Absolutely not. No. They would have been broken. Especially because I knew I was going to be in mosh pits. They were going to break.
Oh, well.
I also wasn't the one that was pushing. So I pushed to get in the front of one concert that was at the Utica Auditorium.
Like a big
was Avenged Sevenfold.
Wasn't worth it.
Who else was there?
Wasn't worth it.
Were you there? Did you go to that concert?
I was there. I'm watching all those concerts because
it was Avenged Sevenfold. It was whatever. I mean, I stayed in line all day, got pushed up to the front, like fought hard to get to the front, and then I was there for maybe half the concert, and I was like, okay, I need to go. Like, I need to get out of because everybody behind you pushes you. So here's the gate. We're pushed up against the gate, and everybody behind me is pushing into me to try to get closer. So eventually I was like, we got to go. Like, I need to get up and over. So they sent us over the fence or the barricade, and then we got to walk around. So K-Rockathon and stuff like that.
Chair areas and stuff?
Huh?
You went to the seating areas instead of the middle?
No. We were still on the ground, but I walked back where like nobody was touching me. Like, and I did that. So there was the seating at the there's all the seats, and then there was the ground. And in the beginning, I was in the first row.
Oh no, I was like dead center-ish.
And then afterwards, I was still on the ground, but I was behind the mosh pit. I was behind everything. So like I wasn't near anybody. And like, so I never had to worry about being too close to somebody, of like having somebody spill something on me or losing my phone. Because I very much was like, I'm just here to listen to the music. I don't need to be involved in all that stuff.
Didn't bring glasses, so I couldn't see anybody. So it didn't matter. Don't need my phone. Tell people like, hey, my phone's be off on me all day. I don't care about it.
Yeah.
And don't bother me. There was one year I gave it to you though, because you were walking around.
I had it. Yeah. Yep.
But again, you had it. So here's my money. Here's my phone. Good luck.
Yep.
Did you guys like go with big groups of people, or did you just like meet each other there? And
big groups.
Both.
If not together, we still met like everybody.
Yeah. There. It was like a bunch of different cars that people would have people in, and then we would like meet everybody there. Like we'd eventually run into each other.
Yeah.
So it was more like a text, like, hey, I'm going. Are you going? Yeah, I'm going. Okay, I'll find you when I get there. Like it was just always one of those things.
Or we all left around the same time, so we can like be put in the parking spots around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So where they're all funneled into like the same area of parking.
Yeah. Tried to be. So
didn't they smuggle you in a trunk?
Wasn't smuggled. They rolled up, the trunk opened, someone popped out, said, get in. I'm like, okay, bet. And I got in. I said, I need a seat to the show. I don't care where it is. I'll even take trunk. I got gas.
It's just good because you're small enough.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
I took the trunk every time because they all fought with their sweaty bodies at the end of the show, and I was in the trunk by myself, breathing easy, relaxed,
and asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Always asleep. You can fall asleep in
anywhere
any car at any point in time.
Yep.
Which I mean, I guess is good for a concert like this. Like you have to be able to be flexible.
Oh, it was tough.
Mm-hmm.
And
so tough.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, well, when you get beat up for hours on end, that's literally what the mosh pits were. They were just beating each other up, and he would just be in the mosh pit for hours. So
it was fun.
Huh?
It was fun. It's fine.
Oh, no thanks.
Oh, it's cool. He just said he was situating the dogs.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna pop on. So
Cool.
that's super awesome.
I'll be backing out
'Cause I
slowly
can,
and listening like a creeper. It's all good.
I know dude, don't even try to front like you're not excited.
Yeah. It'll be cool.
So
I'm just gonna do that so I can crack this door and get some air in here before I die.
You're not
you're not gonna die.
I know. I'll just get really sweaty in the forehead.
You'll glisten. You'll glisten.
I don't want to glisten.
No?
Sounds gross.
All right, guys, I'm not even gonna lie, but my normally not baby bladder, I gotta pee. So I'll be right back.
I know because you're nervous. It's fine.
You never have a baby bladder.
I know. I don't know what's happening right now, but it's
so nervous.
But yeah, so those were fun. I think concerts were always fun, and
I mean, I didn't really have a bad time at them.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot though. It was a lot to go. It was a lot to get there. It was a lot to be there. And
tickets were too much. The tickets were like $35-$40 easily.
Yeah.
It was just getting there. Who you going with? Who's driving? Who wants to drink? Who doesn't want to drink?
Yeah.
Who's
driving home? Yeah. I think I had a couple drinks like in the beginning.
Well, that's fine. If you drank like when you first got there and then just chilled in the hot ass death sun all day, you'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Which some people did.
There also was just so like there was just so many people. It was more like,
we weren't
just survive.
I mean, that's what the mosh pit was like.
So, did you like going to DFB better or K-Rockathon better?
DFB, you did manage to rig your way into getting free water, so that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the security that was like on your back the minute someone came into a mosh pit swinging at everybody trying to start a fight, that was fun.
Yeah.
Because it was like, hey, let that guy swing. And then security's on him. And like, okay, he's gone now. I don't got to deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for free water. The free water was definitely the best part. We found some the hose spigots around.
Yeah.
And I think they had those. They did have the bathrooms. Always crowded, but the sinks worked.
Oh, yeah, at DFB.
Yeah. So the sinks always worked.
We just had the porta potties.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
I mean, they weren't bad if you drank a bunch of water because you sweat it out. So you never had to be in them. I almost never went into a porta potty once because I sweat all the water out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. It was just hot.
The minute I went, that was it.
And then if you did go in those, you wanted to get them early and you never wanted to go in again because it would have just been the grossest thing you've ever saw in your life.
Oh, they were. They absolutely were.
Yeah, sitting in the sun, cooking up all day.
Yep. But
what did you like more? I know you went to both.
Yeah, I went to both. I think I liked DFB because they were smaller. Like the venue was smaller, the crowd was smaller. But I liked going to K-Rockathon because of some of the bands. Like there were some bands that were never going to go to DFB. They were only going to go to the big stage of K-Rockathon. So I think without K-Rockathon, we wouldn't have been able to see. Was Three Doors Down? That was K-Rockathon, right? They were a closer at K-Rockathon once.
I think they were.
I think so.
They
were one of my hands down favorite.
I was gonna say Three Doors Down had to be amazing.
Oh my God, so good. They were
K-Rock got better when they got the bigger stadium with the what was it, the double stage?
Yeah.
So they were able to book more bands, which just made it so much easier to do.
Yeah. It was like when one band was done, when they were tearing.
Yeah, 2009 was Three Doors Down.
2009?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Who else was in that list? You got it? Can you share?
I didn't get the list. I just looked up.
Oh, okay.
K-Rock 2009. Because I knew it was one of the earlier ones I went to.
It was one of the earlier ones, yeah. Oh, they were so good, babe. They were so good.
I mean, they made you cry just listening to their album. So I can't even imagine what they would have done like. Did they ever do anything acoustically or
I don't
all
think
produced?
Yeah. I don't remember.
Because I just imagine, yeah.
But I saw them another and another venue too. With I think my friend Nikki and I went. I don't think it was K-Rockathon. I think it was a different venue. Oswego, maybe? We might have went. Oh, there he is.
Awesome.
I see his face.
All right, cool. Let's let him in.
All right, you got him?
Yeah. Take you out, add you. There we go.
What's up?
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I've been outside and then I had to get dogs situated and,
Try to quiet the house somehow, right?
kids and can you see me? Can you hear me and see me all right? All right, good.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, thanks for waiting for me.
Yeah, of course.
No, we were just warming up, kind of talking about all the bands and all the, because I'm kind of a nerd about it. Because I was saying to start with that year, that summer, that was the year after I graduated. So I was getting ready. I was on basketball scholarship, getting ready to go to college. And the one thing I really wanted to do before I left was go to that. And there was just no way. Like I would have had to map quest like 85 pieces of paper, print it out, drive to Rome. Like there's no way.
It was. Did you see the documentary that they had on Netflix?
Oh, like 30 times. Yeah.
It was worse than that.
Was it?
Oh yeah, it was. It's like you only see what cameras want you to see with stuff like that, but you couldn't imagine that it was. What's the word? It was Armageddon contained in one space. Like it was a free for all. There was no security. There was no, line in the sand. There was no stopping point. It was a free for all. It truly was. There was no security, no nothing.
Well, those kids that were security were basically like just kids they pulled off the street and were like, hey, I'm going to give you like $10 an hour or whatever. Come stand here.
Oh yeah, it was, and that wasn't even the thing. It was like you sit there for a day and all this is going on, and you're like, wait a minute, I want to go join that party. So
right,
shirt comes off, hand it to the next person. There was 250,000 people there. They have no idea how many people were there. People were coming in left and right. The people that paid for their ticket, honestly, were stupid. If you wanted to go, just show up. You could have walked in. They never would have stopped you. Nobody was going to stop you.
Well, I know I remember seeing. Well, let's go back. I remember when the press came out initially while it was happening, like back in '99, and the press came out from like the mayor or the governor, whoever was there, and it all just looked so cool. Like I remember I was like, oh my God, I'm missing this. I'm totally missing this. Like this sucks. And so was it like, did it start going wrong the first day, or what day did it really start going?
I mean, that face I think says it all.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was starting and then it just snowballed and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was like a powder keg waiting to explode. Like you could see it building. I mean, it was awful by the beginning of the first day, and then they started running out of supplies. It was hot. There was no shade. There was no water. There was no food. The prices, I mean, everybody talks about inflation nowadays, but it's relative to then. The prices were outlandish. I mean, you're primarily, and if you look at the one thing about the Netflix thing was the musical lineup. And granted, don't get me wrong, there's exceptions, but predominantly the highlight acts, they knew exactly the type of person they were drawing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so these were young, hot, pissed off. It was like the perfect conditions for exactly what happened to happen. And it's mob mentality. So, people on their own think for themselves, but when you get them collectively in a group, and then you throw all these different ingredients into the pot, well, everybody
together.
Doesn't use their best judgment, I suppose. Is the fairest way to say it. But it was it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you have to understand it's like a once in a lifetime experience. But at the same time, when you step back from it, and especially years later when you look back for it, and as you get older and you look back at it, your mindset's different in your 20s than your 30s, and et cetera, et cetera. It was disgraceful. A lot of what was happening. Like it truly was. You look back at it from, I suppose, as a woman who's there, and you think, hey, I really would like to take my shirt off and be free. But you also, that doesn't mean you're inviting every scumbag.
I was going to ask you that. That was one of
they have a right to violate your space.
Yeah.
Or it's not permit. You have a right to take your shirt off, show your boobs if you want to show your boobs. Doesn't give guys the right under any circumstances. And there was
much of
just
that.
no better judgment. It was gross. It really was. Okay, not everybody there was like that, but there were so many people there.
Right. Relative, yeah. To how many people
it
were
became
there.
a prevailing thing, and there was no police there until the last night when things exploded with the Chili Peppers on the stage. But you saw stuff that you felt helpless. You didn't.
Oh, I was going to ask you that if that was because they did mention that, like they touched on it for a little bit in the documentary. And I was going to ask you if that was like really a thing that was going around, like, or did they just?
It was 100. Like I said, what they showed you isn't even close to
how
what
bad
you really saw. It just wasn't. It would make you sick at times.
Wow. Because I know that they wanted to do like the original Woodstock, like the peace and love and just get high.
That's nonsense. That was a media selling point. That was just bullshit propaganda. Can I swear on this, by the way?
Of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was just bullshit propaganda that, trying to sell tickets, because the spirit of it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. I mean, fights and, you find out, hey, this place has 10 bottles of water, but there's 1,000 people standing there that want it. So, I mean, you saw fights, you saw blood, you saw.
Did you see the
worst? You saw the worst of people.
Did you see the tower coming down? Like, did you see?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where were you?
Walking through after the Chili Peppers. Bethany would tell you, for those that would watch this that don't know my wife. But yeah, she met me up there. She'll tell you it was terrifying when you're sitting there watching the Chili Peppers, and over an hour and a half or so, you're like, where are all these fires coming from? And then the next thing you know, National Guard's there, troopers in riot gear, and you're trying to leave, and they barricade that. It was at the East stage, and they barricaded that exit out that was kind of like, so if I'm facing the stage and I'm to the right, it was over here and behind us. So we're walking out, but it was all barricaded with cops in riot gear. So you had to go back through like basically the middle area, which is this basically a big area that collected people between the two stages, because they were opposite ends of each other and like a mile and change apart. So there's a massive area, and you walk through as you're trying to leave, and they decimated. That's where all the vendors were. Selling T-shirts, selling food and everything else, and that's where the tower was. And like you're walking through, and you see a kid standing on it, and there's people just like basically building a bonfire at the bottom of it. And this kid is like you saw it in the documentary. I don't know if
a little bit.
The kid that was up there.
Yeah.
We walked through all of that, and you're like, oh my God, this kid is gonna, like, this is not a joke. This kid is gonna die. He ended up surviving, but somehow they got him out of there. Fire department, I guess, got in,
because I was like,
we just kept moving. You just kept moving with everybody.
Did anybody was it like a stampede kind of, or did everybody actually just kind of walk out and be okay?
I would say it was congested more in certain areas than others, because you had to navigate people, and you had to navigate structures, and you had to navigate vehicles, and you had to navigate the tents, and certain areas were more congested with people that were looting, because they were anything that was
they were
left
taking
there.
down Bender Village. Yeah,
You got it exactly. So yeah, it was more congested in other places. You didn't know if you were getting out of there. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but personally, when we were walking out, I was like, "Oh my god, this is terrifying."
Did you get to see too? You know the river where their water was all contaminated, where they were supposed to take showers and stuff and whatnot, and they had they thought they were playing in mud, but they were actually just playing in sewage.
Oh, fact. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, did it smell like was it? Because it was hot. I remember it was hot then.
You didn't go near after the first day. You didn't go near a porta john because it was just overflowed and just leaking and baking, and it was unsanitary. Is not even the word for it. It was like I said, it was Armageddon. It was like the apocalypse. It was vile.
So they literally had no plan for how many people or what they had no plan. No. It was just no backup, no.
Contrary, I mean, I remember just in watching the documentary, I'm like, dude, you're lying.
Wow.
You're just not telling the truth. You didn't care. They didn't care. It was
wow.
It was all money.
Were you there the entire time? Did you stay on the site the entire time, or did you leave, came back, no, you were on the site the whole time?
We went I think it was the Tuesday before. I think it was, if I remember, music started it was Thursday, it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we got there the day before, and then I left the Monday after.
So where did you stay?
We had there was a building, and I don't know what it was normally used for, but it was basically used between K-Rock and WKTV. We shared it as a broadcast area. So they were in one part of the building, and they had their setup, but they would bring it outside a lot. But that was like their home base. And then we were in another, basically a big room with our broadcast setup. So I'd be broadcasting in one room, and WKTV would be just in another part of the building. They even brought somebody I worked with at the time onto the news to give some updates.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, everybody that I worked with full time, everybody did their shifts live from there. Westwood One Radio, Armed Forces Radio, basically every radio station that carried it actually simulcast and fed our feed of it. So it was literally they were playing K-Rock locally all over the world. So it was pretty wild. So I'm sitting in a room in Griffiths, and I mean, who knows how many people were listening. I mean, I know for a fact because I would check emails after, and there were people on warships in the Sea of Japan, military, and
wow.
Yeah, so Armed Forces Radio carried it, Westwood One carried it. It was crazy. Howard Stern was there, and he was based out, I think it was K-Rock New York at the time. And they were carrying our feed, and then he would broadcast his show.
Wow.
But if anytime they would go to the live feed of music, it was actually our feed. It was kind of crazy.
That's really, really cool. But I meant not even just for your when you guys were broadcasting, but when the show was done for the day, were you able to go home and shower and then come back the next day, or did you guys?
No, we stayed.
So did you kind of sleep in the same room that you guys broadcasted from?
No, they had they had three. I think it was three RVs that were behind the building. So we got to stay there, and we were able to shower, which was unbelievably awesome.
Did you have to deal with people trying to get into the RV?
Am I allowed to have a visitor?
Of course.
Dude, yeah.
What's up, kid?
Somebody's checking things out.
Did you have to worry about people trying to get onto your RV, or were those heavily security and you guys had your people of to protect you and stuff?
It was basically on the very edge of Griffiths. So everybody would kind of, when you come into the base, you drive past it or walk past it. So it wasn't really a focal point. It was off the beaten path. So we didn't have too many issues. I mean, there were people that would mill about, and you just kind of, but overall, no, we were lucky in that sense.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we were not even close to the the main attraction. We had to walk. You had to walk to the road, because there was a little like driveway kind of thing that came into the building, and so you'd have to get to the road, cross the road, get into the main area where they were having the festival, and then walk way down this road. Like if you could walk down the road, it was like a couple of miles to get to the east stage, which was the far stage. We were by far closer to the west stage, which, like I said, it was a mile or two to the east stage. East stage was technically the big stage. West stage was considered the smaller stage, but I mean, they still, like, James Brown kicked it off from the west stage on the first day, which, by the way, I wasn't on the air till like 3 that day. Or no, wait, I think I started at 7 to 10. I think it was a 6 to 10 at night. So I did a like more of like a late evening shift then. But so I went and watched James Brown for a couple minutes. I mean, how could you not?
I mean, how can you? Yeah, how can you not? I mean, I remember them saying that he almost didn't go on.
Yeah. Oh, there was some issues, but he ended up going on, and he's amazing. So.
And he killed it.
Yeah, dude,
Oh.
he just he's like Prince. Like you are not of this earth.
I know the other big thing I definitely wanted to ask you was the way that they showed it. Like a lot of the mob went after MTV. Like they were just whatever said MTV, they would just like try to pull it down or attack it or whatever. Did they do that to like you guys, like local radio stations or whatever? No. It was literally just aimed at MTV.
They were the focus was on like the nationally known entities. MTV was the target, it seemed like, of, I guess they got the brunt of it. They were also given the prime broadcast location. As you noticed, it was on the left of the main stage there.
Yeah.
So you were visible. They were visible to everyone, and they were sitting ducks. I mean, they were perched up
on a tower, and
elevated. And I mean, you could see their setup. They had a lot of signage and logo. It was like right above up here from where the way it was framed. And so it was the vitriol is the word, right? Directed right at them. Like it sucked to be Carson Daly.
I was going to ask you,
it sucked to be Kurt Loder, because he was so prominent on MTV at the time.
Yep.
But it seemed like Carson Daly was the one, because there weren't a lot of pop acts. It was a lot of either very established artists or, the hot music of now, which was the Limp Bizkits and the Korns and the stuff like that. So that's what I mean when they brought in a lot of that, not element, but that type of music.
So the crowd just didn't want boy bands, and Carson Daly kind of.
Yeah, Carson Daly. Hi, I'm the pop TRL host.
Yeah.
So it's cool to hate Carson Daly at the time.
Right.
I got nothing against Carson Daly, and look at the career he's had.
Yeah.
But he's doing quite well for himself. But at the same time, at Woodstock '99, you did not want to be Carson Daly. Like I would have just gone home. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. If I was him, no.
Didn't some of them run though? Like some of them did, just like.
Oh yeah, people got out of there. Yeah,
just got in their limos and left.
Yep. A lot of the bands, they literally would drive them in. They'd get off stage. They'd perform their show, get back in their vehicle, and they were out. They didn't stick around.
It was a lot of the women too, right? Like, didn't they mess? I tried to look it up. It doesn't say. I mean, Jewel had some stuff to say about it. When she performed afterwards, how whatever, but I couldn't really find anything, because like I said, I would have loved to have said Alanis. I would have loved to have seen Alanis Morissette. She was probably my favorite at that time. But I couldn't find anything that she said. But I know that Jewel said that it was not comfortable. She was just Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow said she was not comfortable.
It was not a safe place if you were female. It just wasn't.
Gotcha.
I can't fathom any woman felt 100% comfortable during the entirety of that experience.
Yeah.
You ever see the Bugs Bunny cartoon where that turned into the steak? Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Like, you were food. Like, you were the meal, and the prey was stalking you.
Yep.
If you were a woman, you were the steak. Like everybody was like, that's what it felt like. It's just what it felt like.
Wow.
That's so uncomfortable, even just you saying it like
I
that.
know.
Like,
Yeah,
I can
for
feel
real.
like the little hairs on my back of my neck standing up or whatever. Did any of the bands stay though? I know you said most of them just got in the car and left. Were there any that kind of hung out for a little bit?
Yeah, it was more like the bigger bands. You know what I mean? The big money bands. The let's say late afternoon to evening bands, the headliners. Those bands were in and out. The smaller bands, they were kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them, that's kind of what they planned on doing for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was definitely plenty that stuck around, but there was also a lot that left.
Well, I just thought it was funny. What did you think of when they tried to get the Red Hot Chili Peppers to calm the crowd down? And
it was kind of pointless. It was too far gone at that point.
Because even Bush, like, what's his name? Rosendale?
Gavin Rossdale.
Oh, Rossdale, yeah. He even said he was like, I'm going to go out there and try to calm this crowd down. I mean, he managed to do it. And like, from what they showed on television, he managed to do it. No?
In a Band-Aid sense, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Too many chemicals involved, too much freedom involved. You know, there was no, like I said, no security. There was nobody enforcing any rules. So it was inevitably not going to happen. Sorry, we've got the puppy here.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you're fine.
Can you guys grab the puppy for me?
Was this I don't think I've ever asked you this or whatever. Was this one of your first major concerts of your career that you went to? Like first major broadcast that you went to in the beginning of your career? Was this the beginning of your career?
No, it was a couple years in by then.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
I had done some pretty big concerts by that point. So, I mean, by far, it's the biggest I ever did.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest to that point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure most people would say that with the Sea of Humanity, that many people. But
yeah,
it was the biggest I had done. It wasn't. I had done some K-Rockathons. I had done some shows with thousands, so it wasn't that overwhelming. I mean, if that, yeah, I had done some other large concerts at that point.
Oh, so you had done a K-Rockathon or a couple. Mm-hmm. When did K-Rockathon start? When did they start?
94 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a few years old at that point.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 or 4 at that point.
And then in comparison between K-Rockathon and Woodstock, would you say that there was any sort of, like, you felt maybe a little bit more prepared for Woodstock for what happened because you had gone to a K-Rockathon or two? Or was Woodstock very much like a shock?
I mean, yeah, it definitely made you feel prepared, and you saw some things that were similar, but the scale, I mean, even if a K-Rockathon might have 20 or 25,000 people, it was a much smaller scale. And ultimately, like, at least there was security and police at a K-Rockathon, where if, let's say, for example, some guy was not doing what he was supposed to, in the same respect, like, they're out. The cops are there. You get them to the cops. Security, get them to the cops. There wasn't any of that. So it didn't feel like you could do anything about it, because where do you go? Where do you find the police? Like, where do you find security that's going to do anything?
Yeah.
You got some guy in a security shirt that's making $10 an hour. I don't give a crap. What am I going to do about it? So that was the reaction. And there was no consequence. Like, there was no, Bub, can you stop that for a second, please? There was nowhere to enforce rules. Like, it was, so it didn't feel like you could do much.
Yeah.
It was almost like you had to resign yourself, where, like, if something bad happened, something criminal happened, you had to resign yourself to the fact that I'm not going to be able to address this until it's over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when we get out of here, I'm going to the cops. But there was nowhere to go there to address it immediately. And I mean, think about it. If you're, I mean, obviously the sexual assaults was a huge part of it. So if you're a victim of that, how do you find it? How do you find them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Disappear into a sea of humanity. So it was like, or who the hell was it? You know what I mean? You don't know that. You don't know their name. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part, like if you're at a K-Rockathon, you know, generally people are from the general area.
Right.
With this, people came from across the country, even around the world.
Yeah.
So people flew into the States for this. They wanted to go to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. And so there really was nothing until the last day, right? There was no National Guard came in the last day.
Yeah.
And the fire department, and that was pretty much it.
They bum rushed and troopers, like I said, in riot gear. There was a wall of troopers with riot gear. I mean, like that was like you see on TV as you're trying to leave, and you're like, you turned around and you're like, whoa, shit is going down now. Like this is serious.
Did they have like the tear gas and the smoke, like the smoke grenade, the pop smokes?
Oh yeah, they were doing everything they could possibly think to like basically disperse the crowd. You don't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. It was leave. It's over. Get out. Go home. Find your. Very good.
That's crazy.
Daughter puppy sitting neighbor's dog.
You're like, sounds good. Yeah.
But yeah, well, I mean, I guess kind of the only other thing that I really, really wanted to know was.
Hold on, you're lying. Baloney. That's not the only other thing you wanted to know.
I mean,
there's going to be 20 follow-up questions. I'm waiting for. Come on now.
Ask them all.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, ask them. I got time for you.
Yeah.
So what did you actually get to see any acts like peacefully where you were just like, oh, I really enjoyed that act. I really enjoyed like watching that, or just were you on the stage the whole time behind the scenes, or?
No, we were primarily, other than MTV, you really couldn't do anything from the stage. Like,
gotcha.
So you'd be back in your broadcast areas. There was a few exceptions to that, but they really catered to the national, not the local.
Okay.
Even though it's weird behind the scene, like they kind of couldn't have pulled it off without us. But
you put out the stream.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Dave Matthews, so I watched that. I made a point to make sure that was the one I could definitely see.
Was that the first time you met Dave?
No, I met him once, and I actually met him at Vernon Downs at a show
that's
there.
Maybe is that where we went to see him?
We went to.
Where did we go?
It was NBT Stadium in Syracuse.
Syracuse, that's where we went. That's when I went to go see Dave.
Yep, that was at the baseball stadium, which was awesome.
That was so good. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him a bunch of places, but yeah, it was cool to see him at Woodstock. It's very different than going to see him at like a Dave Matthews show. But they were great. It was bizarre to see them play that early in the day, but they were phenomenal. And I watched them. That was the one thing I knew I wanted to see.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, live was great. The band live. I mean, I caught part of Korn. I caught part of.
That looked insane.
I was able to catch a little bit of Korn, a little bit of Biscuit, Chili Peppers. I saw the whole set. I'm trying to remember the lineup. I mean, I caught a little James Brown.
I have it. I'll look it up. I'll show you.
Yeah, there's so many bands. It was so long ago. Yeah, I mean,
I got you.
You'd
right here.
Here.
Be able to catch a.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Oh, Sugar Ray. I've interviewed them before. Yep. I caught a few minutes of The Offspring. Saw Kid Rock actually in his entirety. I saw that whole set. They were throwing. Well, you've seen the footage where they were throwing, and it was like a sea of water bottles in the air.
Did they just not like him, or were they like just?
Oh no, they loved him.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you something about Kid Rock that is a fact. The Kid Rock became a superstar because of that performance, and I can even tell you the song. It was "Bow It to Ba."
Yes.
That song had just hit radio. Okay, and coinciding with it had been on the radio for a few weeks. He plays Woodstock, and the performance of that song, it exploded. And I'm telling you, that was the beginning of what made him a superstar. I can pinpoint the moment, that performance at Woodstock, that song, that place erupted. It was, I mean, I don't know. I have some opinions of how Bob Ritchie has evolved as a human
Yeah. Well,
over the years.
yeah.
But I can tell you one thing, his band's amazing and he's an incredible performer.
I was going to say 99 didn't matter.
Yeah.
Kid Rock was Kid Rock and you were jumping around with Kid Rock.
And it exploded.
Yeah.
I caught a little bit of Willie, by the way.
You did?
On day 3. Let's see. I was not able to see Alanis. I had to leave after Dave because I had to get back to go on the air for a little while. Got back. I saw some Biscuit, saw all of Rage, saw Metallica.
Wow.
Yep. Let's see. I think
Did Counting Crows get water bottles thrown at them too?
yeah, I think they had it rough. I think, if I remember, they were West Stage, so
they had it rough.
I can't imagine they were loved at.
No. Creed, I could hear. I didn't see. I don't remember being able to catch Jewel. Saw the entirety of the Chili Peppers. Actually, yes, I did. I saw probably the last half of Creed. Now that I remember. Because we got there before the Chili Peppers went on. Did not see Al Green. Definitely caught some Willie. Saw some Everlast too. I remember specifically going to check him out. Let me see. Scroll down for me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see Alanis. Rage.
Go back.
Rage was incredible, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they were amazing.
How long were they up there for?
Had over an hour.
Oh wow,
they were awesome. Yeah, they were awesome.
Was each set about an hour or so? Did it depend?
Roughly, and it would depend. The smaller bands had smaller sets. It was an hour and change. I mean, they had to keep it moving. But yeah, I would say Chili Peppers was probably 90 minutes, if I remember.
Yeah.
How do you make chili? I can't imagine making Chili Peppers the close of the whole thing and expecting it to go or like
chill.
Because I mean, I would go nuts for Red Hot Chili Peppers. There's no way. I would just lose my mind if I saw them in concert.
But I will tell you, it would have been worse if it was because Biscuit, like Fred Durst.
Oh yeah,
he set it off like he.
Yeah, what was the song?
He kind of threw the.
It was like break stuff.
Break stuff.
Yeah,
he's the one that threw the match on the gasoline.
Is it that? That's true. That really is true.
Metaphorically speaking, yeah. He was all about just
tearing
blowing the thing up. Yeah.
Well, very Fred Durstish.
Without
very
a doubt.
Fred Durst of himself.
I will tell you this though. Say what you want about Biscuit. Incredible live band.
Oh my God, so good.
Energy, just the whole night. They're just fun. If you want to go rock out, they're fun.
Yep.
Cornage too. I mean, Rage was phenomenal. I mean, I know, people's passion levels for certain bands or songs is different, but just in a general sense, you got to give credit where it is due.
Oh yeah.
Oop, hey, watch out, buddy. Watch out.
Yeah. So I think I saw Biscuit and Korn in I think Limp Bizkit was at a K-Rockathon that I saw.
Correct.
And then was Korn at the same one? Or was Korn at the auditorium with Avenged Sevenfold?
Yes.
That one. Okay.
Yeah, there's been.
I don't remember.
Korn's definitely been at both. Biscuit's been at K-Rockathon.
Yeah.
Definitely. Korn played one of them. Korn did play a K-Rockathon. I don't remember if it was the same year. Off the top of my head.
I think it was. I don't think it was the same year.
Actually, I think it was. Yeah, I know, because Biscuit headlined that.
Biscuit headlined that. Or was it the year, we were just talking about the year that Three Doors Down played at the K-Rockathon?
Maybe they were the band before Biscuit.
Before Three Doors Down?
Yeah, Three Doors Down bored me to tears.
Oh, that hurts my heart.
I know you all love them.
Maybe it's just girls.
We were just talking about how good. I was just saying how good they were and how
for what they do, but it's like Nickelback for me. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they're good. They're chick.
I also do not like Nickelback, so I'm
the most sexist thing you'll ever hear me say, but they're a chick band.
I can see it now.
It makes sense now.
It hurts my heart, but I can see it.
Yeah.
As I sit there and tell you how much I love Dave Matthews.
Listen, it makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, I loved Three Doors Down when they headlined it.
It was the year Kowalczyk from Live. I'm sure you remember. We went. There was an acoustic performance with Kowalczyk, the guy from Live. He had broken up. Live had broken up for a little while. Oh, so you have visitors too. Awesome.
Say hi to Uncle. Say hi to Uncle Chris.
Hi, Uncle Chris.
Hello. What's up, dude?
Was that at that was DFB though, wasn't it?
That was K-Rock-a-thon.
That was K-Rock-a-thon?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was in the infield of the fairgrounds.
Oh, okay.
We went into the building that was on the left-hand side, facing out from the stage.
Yes.
There was 3 or 4 bands that did acoustic performances in there, aside from their main stage, and he was one of them.
Yep, I remember that. I definitely remember that. So then, if K-Rock, so I guess one of my questions is, if K-Rock was already going on before Woodstock 99 happened, how did Woodstock come to be a thing? Because K-Rock-a-thon is a smaller version of Woodstock.
That leads into the question that I wanted to ask, was that Michael Lang, the guy that did it, was he ever a part of any of the DFBs or the K-Rock-a-thons or anything? He just did.
No, he's a promoter completely on his own. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
We've got a puppy barking. Does she need her ball? Yeah. That's the beauty of live.
We love it.
Listen.
11. Other room, please. That's Michael Lang. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a promoter. He's the promoter of the original Woodstock, and I think he saw a chance to make money. He was the one responsible for securing a venue and security and booking the bands and paying the bands, and he was the guy. He's the alpha in that situation. So
gotcha.
He was. I think that he didn't have good partnership who was able to handle the legal stuff and the organizational aspect of it. And, he saw a chance to make money. So they kind of forsake the important stuff. You know what I mean? Like he kind of trimmed some things around the edges.
Trim the whole fat.
Let's make it work. We'll make it work however we have to. And, everything else be damned. If we do this, and this, we'll make a lot of money. You saw a lot of that in the documentary if you watched it. But
did you? Well, yeah. I mean, I know that he acted like he did do things, and then he really didn't do things when it came to obviously security and plumbing and water.
Overpromise, underdeliver, in every aspect of it.
It was like that fire thing.
Yeah, he told everybody what they wanted to hear so they would agree so he could fast track this and move it forward.
Yeah.
At the expense of others and just ultimately not giving a what.
Yeah. You can swear, it's okay.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's
you
right.
really can.
Not giving a shit
at
all how it affected other people.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. That you watched it, babe, too, with me. That fire one where that kid tried to buy a whole island and have a huge concert on an island.
Oh yeah, Firefest. Yeah, that was a
Firefest.
disaster.
Same thing, I feel like.
But
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Absolutely, no. It was. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about at the end of the day, and I'm not disparaging him because he did it, but I mean, it was Michael Lang, and he associated himself with unethical, immoral people who put the quote unquote almighty dollar ahead of protecting these kids. I mean, that's the fact. He did what he did, and it was a disaster. The fact is, he tried to do it a couple years ago and bring back another anniversary version of it, and it was so awful before. Nobody would allow them to use their venue. Everybody, they wouldn't touch it with the proverbial pole. It was like, no, we don't want you. No, we know how this is going to end. You've already proven it. We don't want you. It's kind of like it's I wish our country would do that with our president, the presidential issues. Trump, we kind of know what you're about. How the hell do you people still support this crap? You know how this is going to end. It's just going to get worse.
Don't like either one. I don't like either one.
So he tried to bring back an anniversary. You said?
Yeah, a few years back, he tried to get Vernon Downs to host it, to do a version of it, and they were like, nope. Bethel said no. Then he tried some different spots in the country. Everybody was like, no, thank you, man. We don't want nothing to do with you. You're toxic. You're toxic. It's going to end horrible, and we don't want to deal with the legal consequences if stuff goes wrong.
Yeah. Well, from what you guys said, I haven't seen the whole thing. I just was seeing bits and pieces of it or whatever. I wonder if maybe this documentary was a way to kind of make it look better than it was, because like you said, it very much was like a smidge of what actually happened and how people were actually treated, and the real truth, you know, that saying, it's like your truth, my truth, and the real truth is somewhere in the middle. And so I wonder if this documentary was in a way to kind of shine, for a lack of a better word, shine a brighter light on the situation and on the event, to maybe, if he's still trying to get somebody to do a revamp of it, to be like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, he's doing, he's doing PR, revisionist history. He's trying to sugarcoat it. You know, that's why he agreed to do that, hoping it would make him look better in the end. But the facts of the matter is, anybody that went to it will tell you.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet you the vast majority of people that watched that, specifically those that went or were involved somehow, were like watching that, thinking the same thing I was. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. You're being disingenuous. That's not what happened. That's not what your intention. Like, you're lying. You're just not being truthful.
Yeah. What was the age that people were there? Mostly like average.
All ages, all walks of life, but predominantly younger males, toxic masculinity, the bros, you know, your typical 20-something biscuit, corn.
Yeah.
That was who it was marketed to. You know, there was a lot. Don't get me wrong. There were people, I'm sure, that were coming because they were thinking the peace and the love, and they did try to have some diverse acts, you know, some current stuff, some nostalgic stuff. But
Wyclef Jean. Some of the acts actually looked out of place. It was like
very much so. Very much.
You know what I mean? You're going to, and like, no offense at all, but you're going to Rome, and like, you're bringing Korn, Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, like, and you're gonna throw Wyclef Jean.
It's
and
not
Jewel. Like, what?
Yeah, the market that you're coming into is not specifically fans of some of them. I think the majority, when you get into smaller cities and rural areas, Rome's not a big city. You go a mile in any direction, you're in farmland. Like I said, you're targeting a certain demographic of people. You just are. And if that's your home base, you kind of got to do the math. You just do. Common sense. A lot of common sense has to be applied to this.
You don't want to say it, but you know what upstate, and not like what we, like, Long Islanders think upstate is, what actual upstate is. Like that Rome, Buffalo, like, that's a very red area of New York. And if you're bringing all those bands that are just very homegrown country cornbread, like, let's go.
Angry.
And they're all 18 to 25, 27.
Don't get me wrong. There's obviously there's a lot of people that believe in diversity.
Oh, of course. No, I'm not saying. Yeah, I get it.
Things like that. But there's also a lot of people that do not.
Right.
And that's just the nature of how humans are. And there's an element that was there, that was part of this, that's what they wanted. They wanted like-minded people. They wanted the free-for-all. They liked the fact that it wasn't policed. They liked the fact, but I would also venture to say, without the alcohol and the drugs, there's a lot of people that did things that they would never have done circumstances either, with a mob mentality leading to that, because they felt, it almost felt like you were stuck in a moment in time that wasn't real life, but it was real life. But they didn't care at that point in time.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
They didn't use their best judgment. I got a
No,
cat
and
for
even
that.
if you're not on drugs and alcohol between the ages of 18 and 25, how often do you use your best judgment, even without the help? Like, you don't.
This
not a
guy did
thing.
not. This guy did not. I'll tell you that.
I did it. Whatever.
I've done every stupid thing you could possibly imagine. So.
And you try it out just to see if it'll work. Like, it's not even you don't even question what could actually happen. Just
no, you don't think beyond the moment. Like, you don't ever.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
And then, oh shit, that's actually what happens when you do it, thinking that something was going to be different, and it's actually not different. It's exactly what you thought it was going to be. So,
because I can remember really, like, I mean, obviously you were old enough to be working there. You had a career, you had, Bethany, you had, you know what I mean? Like I was not, I was freshly out of high school. I saw it and I was like, yeah, let's freaking go. My last summer before I'm going to be chained to playing basketball forever. And like, I'm never going to be able to leave my dorm room. Let's go to Woodstock 99. And I had like 15 like-minded friends that were like, yes. And thank God it didn't work. Like now at 42, I can look back and be like, yeah, God was looking out for you on that one, because that was probably not it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what would have happened, but you would have been in situations that I'm sure you would not have been comfortable, and you don't know how it's going to turn out. And, let's be honest, there's a lot of ladies that went to that had things happen to them that I'm sure that still affects them to this day, that they didn't pull into that place expecting it to alter the course of their life. They thought it would just be a memory of a concert, as opposed to a horrible trauma that they're
now facing.
I mean, that's not stuff that leaves you.
Yeah, I mean, in your mind, I think you think like, oh, hey, I might hook up with a cute boy. I might meet like one of the band managers or something. You know what I mean? And you think like, oh, fun, I get to whatever. And yeah, it turns out to be not that, which
maybe you sit there and you go, oh, I'm going to get wasted, and, I'm going to humiliate myself and I'll be puking by the side of a car or a dumpster in my campground, or, that kind of a thing. That goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sitting there thinking that, as opposed to some scumbag does things to you that violate you.
And you know what? You couldn't even do it for the gram back then.
No. Nope. That's the thing.
Yeah, you weren't even doing it for you weren't doing it for influencer status or like
clout.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I just feel like if they had access, I mean, can you imagine Woodstock 99 with iPhones? Can you imagine all of the things?
My life with that stuff. I'm so glad it didn't exist when I was that age.
You know what I mean? Like, I just think of all the things that could be on other people's phones that you don't know of. Just kind of what you're saying, like just in situations of what happened, and not remembering and being unsure and whatever. And the fact that it's like, if there were phones back then, there could be videos. Like there could have been videos of you on someone else's phone. And like that for me is like, holy shit, like good thing. So there were
people, there was the bad aspect of it, but there was also the people that were, who's that?
That's Jeff.
That's Jeff.
Do you remember Jeff?
Oh, I literally could only see the top of a head. I couldn't see anything else. I saw a hairline.
That's Jeff. You're like, what is that?
But he's running behind the scenes, and he has been like so excited all day that Rainman, and then like in the private chat, he's like, this is freaking awesome.
Oh, thank you. But
we totally blew up your spot. Yeah. And he's also helping with the kids.
Wrangle the children.
Yeah. So that we can.
Yeah. So there's the negative aspect that obviously a lot of it was covered in the documentary or whatever, but there's also a lot of people that bad things didn't happen to, and they were just kind of there with the girlfriend or their friends. Because there's also, you're walking along. Oops, hang on, we got a kitty here. You're walking along and you see like a young couple who are having the time of their life. They're not with their parents. They're blasted at 3 p.m. watching a band.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, let's sneak over in between those two cars. And you look over and you're like, whoa, hey, how you doing? Put the pants back on, you know?
Yeah.
You'd see, but then you step back and you're like, you know what? Good for them.
Yeah.
It's fun, you know?
Yeah.
So there was also that kind of stuff too. So it's not, you know, I mean, how many times in your life are you going to be young and free and you can do things like that? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're like, you know, consenting adults in that sense, and you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, we've all done it, I think, on a smaller scale, not a Woodstock 99 scale, but like you went to like, you know, some sort of Fire Island situation for me. I don't know, probably a DFB for you. No, I'm just kidding. I love you. I know.
No. I gotta tell you though, the coolest part of it though, aside for me from Dave and a few of the bands that I was interested in seeing, but I think it was the end of the first night or the second night. You could check the schedule again because I don't remember specifically.
Yeah.
But going to the hangar with the rave with like Moby and Fatboy Slim, and I mean I was there for that. It was awesome. Yeah, scroll down, other way.
Right.
There you go. No, other way. Keep going. Yeah, like there you go. Use Moby, Fatboy Slim right there. That was awesome. That was in the like the hangar where the planes would go.
Oh shit.
So the whole gigantic, I mean, normally you're talking about 747s in there, but it was epic. They had a rave in there. So they like Fatboy Slim is up and elevated and you have it was mobbed. I don't know if you remember from the documentary the scene with the vehicle that came in, and like I was over there for watching all that stuff going, and I'm sitting, I love Fatboy, so I'm like, you know,
yeah.
And I'm like, this is awesome. And then the next thing you know, it got crazy.
Yeah, the ambulances came.
Yeah.
They stole an ambulance.
You're like just standing there. I was with a couple of people I worked with at the radio station, and we're just kind of standing there hanging out, and we're like, this is great. This is amazing. Like, and then the next thing you know, like, what's going on?
Yeah, they what happened was the crowd actually stole an ambulance.
Yeah.
Drove it up there.
Yep.
And then they had to like drive there, whatever. I think it was the fire truck or something to get them out, or a police car or something to get them out. But yeah,
that's right.
So yeah, and from what I can remember, he was bummed as crap because I think he was having a good set or something. Like
he was loving it, and all of a sudden he's like, they're like, you're done, and he was
you gotta shut it down. Yeah,
what the fuck?
Because they were on top of it, like they were they were jumping around on top of the ambulance, and it was driving through people.
Like, Fatboy had the crowd like in the palm of his hand. I mean, he was just exploding then. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
That's crazy.
Like, you couldn't replicate that at 2 in the morning, whatever that fuck it was during the course of the day.
Well, now I can't even imagine being awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, but like, I know. I hear you.
Oh, what'd you find?
Oh yeah. He found,
there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That was it.
That's what it looked like.
You got 7 seconds of pop, Jeff, if you're playing a YouTube.
Yeah. Crazy.
But yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, so there was no thought about having any sort of security or at all for this. Like this was planned to not have any security or whatever.
Well, according to Michael Lang, there was a plan for security, and there was, an understanding and agreement with local municipality, with Rome, police, state police. He was supposed to have all of that coordinated, but I think
he was giving
things never got finalized, and so he just said F it and let it go. Oh yeah, I mean, legally for insurance purposes, they had to have all that stuff in place.
Right.
I just think they threw caution to the wind and let it all ride out.
Did you ever get to see any of the press conferences that he put out with his little partner? And like, I can't remember if it was the mayor. I think it was the mayor.
Yep, I think Senator
Griffo,
like a mayor of Rome back then, wasn't it? Joe Griffo, possibly.
I think
I remember.
So.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of it. Yeah,
because I mean, they just made it sound like it was so everything was under control. It was so perfect. Like, no, last night was a good night. It was fine. We just, you know what I mean? Like, I think the crowd loved it. Like, that's all they would say the whole time.
Yeah, it was, don't believe what your eyes saw, believe what we tell you. It was, cognitive dissonance at its best, right? But that, it was not a factual representation of what was happening there. They were blowing smoke.
Because did you ever, like, these are all the pictures that I literally found from people that were like, this is what Woodstock was like. Like, it was just
disgusting.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah. That's accurate. That's accurate. The smell, it stunk. It was gross. You didn't want to touch anything. Like, you have to understand, my perspective is different because I could go back to a broadcast compound that had a trailer and we had water and we could shower and, we had food there. I wasn't stuck umpteen hours from home with no money in the middle of a place I have no idea where it is. Like, you know what I mean? So,
well,
I mean, we could go to a toilet. Like, we had toilets available to us.
Yeah.
So my perspective is a little bit different. I wasn't stuck there like they were, like anybody that bought a ticket and went, or people that just showed up and went. Like,
you weren't sleeping in a tent.
Yeah, I was.
Or on the ground, just flat on the ground.
Because I got to go there as a member of the media. We had access to places that everybody else just didn't.
Well, Jeff found it, and it says that it took about 4 weeks to clean up that place before it even started to look like it did before.
Yeah.
You got the smell out, I'm assuming, too.
Oh, it
probably still smells
so bad.
All these years later, it probably still smells. And
Yep.
So what would you say is the big difference between well, I guess I'll ask this first and then I'll ask my second question.
Sure.
What would be your biggest lesson from going to Woodstock?
As from the perspective of a concert or like an attendee?
Either or both.
Don't believe a word Michael Lang says, even though he's now since passed. He was full of shit.
Yeah.
The biggest lesson is look in the mirror, and I often wonder if they altered the lineup a bit, or the Me Too movement happened before that. Perhaps some of the circumstances, where maybe a lot of guys would have, when you can see that there's consequences to your actions, and you need to think before you act, and there's repercussions, and you're going to get called out on it. And social media not being a part of it then and is now.
Yeah,
I think with those are things that would have maybe changed the outcome of it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But look in the mirror, try to be a better person. Don't repeat that again. You don't have a right to touch other people without consent. Those are the biggest lessons for me.
Yeah.
Be a decent human. Your character is revealed in how you act when other people aren't looking. You're if you're moral, if you're ethical, that you, even under circumstances where there's 200,000 people doing this, but I am not going to go assault that woman over there.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there aren't ladies that don't do horrible things, but clearly it's predominantly males in this situation, and statistics prove it. Guys need to look in the mirror, and situations like that don't allow you to act the way that you want without, like I said, consequences for your actions.
Yeah.
I hope, I mean, I've loved music festivals like that, but I certainly hope to never see anything like that again.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. I guess that kind of goes into my next question of like
everything that went wrong.
Could have, it was like
that's the thing.
The great white whale.
Yeah. If you have people with integrity that are behind events like this that will make sure that it is safe and legal,
Mm-hmm.
and they follow through, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want people like Michael Lang to be in charge of things like this. It can't always be about the money.
Yeah.
It's it's the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And something that could have been amazing is really ultimately remembered for being just a disgusting shithole of sexual assaults and violence and the worst in people.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And I guess this is kind of like a two-part question. You kind of answered it, but
my man's taking over my seat here.
Listen, they always want to be involved.
He's in charge.
They definitely want to be involved. What would be your biggest comparison between going to Woodstock and being at like a K-Rockathon? And then the second part of that is, you might have answered it a little bit. Did going to Woodstock and seeing Woodstock completely change your thought about music festivals, about your career, about ever wanting to go to another musical festival and have that be a part of your, or was like there ever a thought that you're like, after this, I don't want to go to any musical festival ever again?
I'll that I could analyze that for an hour. But I'll tell you what it did. It ultimately, it was a wake-up call in the sense that because I then went on for years and decades after that, being part of music festivals and being part of a station that put on the biggest one in Central New York every summer, it kicked me into a little bit of a paternal mode where I would kind of look out for people.
Mm-hmm.
So it was see something, say something. So if I'm standing on the stage, for example, and I see, hey, there's some, 19-year-old girl, 10 rows deep, and she's, this surrounded by a bunch of guys, you the security. So hey, look out, you jump off stage, you go, hey, look out for that girl. Yep. Or if you walk, you see something, you direct them towards, hey, let's why don't we get over here and get a little closer to security, and in case anything's happening, because I can't stand here with you, but at least there's some responsible adults in the room that will see you and can help you. Like little subtle things like that. It made me aware to look out for other people. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But or you grabbing a dude, hey man, your buddy's not doing too well. Why don't you get him a water? I would never stop short of saying things like that. Instead of seeing something and turning a blind eye, it made me proactively want to do that. Little things like that.
Yeah.
Just to be less self-absorbed and to see the big picture.
Yeah. No, and I think in situations and the position that you were in, I think that's a really big gift to be able to give that as part as your responsibilities of being on stage and being broadcasting and all type of stuff or whatever. That gift that you gave other people was the experience of having the best experience they could in the safest way that you could also like do your best, as well as having to be in that responsible position of I'm working.
I want you to have one of the best nights of your life. I don't want you to go home and wake up the next day and feel that it was a horrible experience. So and any little thing that I can do to help, I'm going to help. And I want people, those experiences were always positive for me, but I had access and privilege that most people don't. I could come and go anywhere that I wanted. You've been out watching a band for 4.5 hours in the blazing sun. Well, you're stuck there for 6 more hours if you want to watch the rest of the show. I could take a break, go backstage, pop in a trailer that had air conditioning. I could get unlimited waters. I could go into another building behind the stage and grab food. I didn't have to go stand in a line for 45 minutes. I mean, things like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I literally got to the point over the years where I would grab waters. I mean, we'd have buckets full of waters backstage. I'd bring them out and give them to some of the kids that were at you've actually seen me do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Colleen at different shows where
Well, no one wants to go to a concert.
I just bring a bottle. Sometimes a bottle of water on an 85-degree day when you're trapped up there waiting 3 more bands to see your favorite is the best thing that you can. It saved their day. So the little things like that. So, or you just look at this kid and you're like, this kid doesn't know any better than to get out of the sun and go relax. And
oh, they don't.
It's like, drink some water, buddy. Here, take this. Take this.
They have no idea. No, they don't. They're 18. They have no idea that sun affects their life. Like they have no idea.
Yeah.
Sweat, water, hydration.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Like spell hydration. Like it's not.
Drink this damn water.
Yeah. I mean, that was obviously obviously I'm your sister, so I literally could walk up to you and be like, hey, I'm coming to see you, and be able to have that access to water. But I mean, I don't know for you if it would be like when you knew that I was in the crowd, did it make you feel a little bit better knowing that I always had somebody with me and I wasn't always by myself?
Well, yes, and but it also made me feel better that I knew if anything happened, I knew all of the security.
Yeah.
And I could grab somebody and I could pull you out of that. And kind of like I was your security. I liked being the security blanket for you, knowing if you really had a problem that I was there. I was physically in the same place as you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to always worry about that. That's why I always used to be glad that you'd check in with me. And I always used to tell you, call me, text me, find me, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was even times where I might have been interviewing somebody and I remember sending people out to like give you water or to help you go to the bathroom or like people that I worked with that you knew.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because if I would like, we wouldn't have like a set time, but it would be like, every 30 minutes or something, you'd be like, haven't seen you. Where are you? Or I'd be like, hey, I'm going to come see you. And then if you couldn't come to me, somebody was always meeting me at the gate where you guys were.
Oh yeah.
So that at least for you could know that someone had eyes on me, and then they could tell you like, I just saw her, she's fine.
The guys that ran security for years and years and years are guys I've known to this day, and for 25, 30 years. It's like and some of the people working in the backstage crews, I've known them even before I did radio. So I've literally known them for 30 years or more, and they all knew you.
Yeah.
Chris's little sister.
Yeah.
So they knew. They all knew. That's Colleen. That's Chris's sister. They would keep an eye on you. Chucky Love. I'm sure you remember that name. I've introduced you to him 50 times.
Yes.
He was always a stage manager at those shows.
Always.
And Chucky knew you. So Chucky I would tell him, if you see anything, just let me know.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Let her do her thing, but if she's in danger, let me know.
Yep.
So there was always numerous sets of eyes and ears on the people that I loved, that I was worried about if they were there. So
I think that's what we all do, not even in just a concert space, but just in general. Like you want the biggest amount of people to, everybody knows who Little G is, like around here.
Definitely.
So I don't have to worry. If something happens, I'm getting a phone call. It's not,
it takes a village.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that mindset didn't make it in the doors at Woodstock. It wasn't really people looking. You always, you see the worst in people, but unfortunately, like if you watch the news or you pay attention to social media, you don't see reality. You hear about the negative shit and the horrible shit, but there's still a lot of good people out there too that will help you. And you didn't, unfortunately, it was like that got kicked to the wayside. It seemed like, especially as you got deeper into Woodstock, day 2 and day 3, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Where people, they were desperate at that point in time. You might go there with great intentions on day 1, but now it's been 48 hours. You barely had any water. You barely had any food. You're broke. You're wasted. You're scared.
Yeah. Yep.
You're angry. You're hot. Like I said, you don't make the best decisions. Nobody does.
How long did it even, because you said you were there till Tuesday. How long did it even take everybody to file out of there? Were there still people there on Tuesday when you left?
We left. So I got there Monday or Wednesday, and we left the following Monday afternoon.
Oh, okay. So it was just,
it ended on Sunday. We finally got out of there. There was no way you were getting, we had the option to go back to the trailer. So we just decided to sleep there and go back out and leave on Monday.
Monday.
But by the time By the time you got out of the area of the stage, walked all the way back to the compound, and then your adrenaline settled. We didn't fall asleep till like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You're pumped. Like, that's not even adrenaline. That's something else. It's not every night of your life that you're surrounded by SWAT teams, you know what I mean? Like, or riot gear or fires or people.
Well, because I mean, all those other guys too, like the promoters and the people associated with it, they were running and hiding for their lives too.
Oh, yeah.
They were, barricading themselves in the places, like.
Yeah, the limited, fences. They'd have security, and they had security like preventing people from going backstage for the artists, but the rest of it was a free. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But it got to the point by the end of it, nobody gave a shit anymore, and you weren't stopping them. Like, you just weren't, and there weren't enough people. There wasn't enough security to stop an angry mob, so that's why they finally had to call in, the troopers and
Actual,
and everything else. They call in the big guns.
Jeez.
So when reality set in, that like there was no sense of security, there was no sense of authority. Like, did you have those moments where you were terrified, like that something could happen?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You did?
Oh yeah. I did. I mean, I'm like, we just were bolting to get the fuck out of there after the Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Bethany was with me. It was. I after the fact, it was weird. After we got back and settled down for an hour or two, when we got back to the broadcast area where we were going to crash, it was like your adrenaline comes down and you realize how fucking scary it was. But as you're in the moment, you're scared. But it's fight or flight. So, and which is weird. You think it sounds like, it's flight because you're leaving, but that's what you had to do. So you had to fight through it. So I didn't feel like we were retreating. I felt like we were fighting to get through this crowd to get to a safe space. So it was like we were just like, let's go this way. Okay, go this way. Now go this way. Go this way. Keep your eyes out. Okay, we can't go. You were engaged. Like, you were in that moment. Nothing else existed other than we have got to get the fuck out of here.
And that was every day?
That was specific. Well, I'm specifically talking about the final night.
Oh, the final night
when shit went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bethany was with you, and you just like.
It was just the two of us. She came up. She had to work that Friday. She came up the second day, and I've never been more excited to see somebody in my entire life, because it was like basically people I work with, but everybody's going in different directions, and I was ultimately, other than that, all alone.
Yeah.
So I wanted something that made me feel normal.
Yeah.
You don't feel normal unless you have people that coworkers don't do that for you. You know what I mean?
No,
Random strangers don't do that for you. It was like,
Yeah.
she was the one thing that actually helped me be calm.
Yeah.
Knowing that she was there with me. But
was it?
And then there's also, hey, I want to protect this person.
I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Scarier when she got there.
As a man, I want to protect the woman that I love. As a man, I want to protect the mother of my children. As a human, I want to protect this person that I'm with. So it was also a huge sense of keeping her safe. Now, she could take care of herself, but at the same time, I want to keep her safe too. So it's like you're just on edge. You're on guard because you didn't know if something was going to come flying through the air. You didn't know, and you didn't know if it was going to be a water bottle. You didn't know if it was going to be a flaming piece of wood, like a bottle, like a
pile of shit.
A pile of shit. Like, you didn't know what it was going to be.
I mean, they lit a lot of fires. There were a lot of fires lit.
It was funny because there was a company, and you saw this. They were passing out the cases of candles. I don't know if you saw it. Remember?
Yes, for the finale.
Yeah, for Chili Peppers, and then and it was so funny that they ended up playing fire at the end, covering fire at the end. But so people are just, and we even had a box of them. Like, people are lighting the candles, melting it, sticking them on the ground. So all of a sudden, Like, oh, there's a little fire over there. Oh, look, there's a little fire over there. Oh, look, there's another fire over there. Holy shit, that fire's getting bigger. Oh my God, that fire's getting bigger. Next
So
thing you
nobody
know,
really
there's
thought this
25
through.
fires. The next thing you know, there's 50 fires. The next, you're like, this is insane. And they just popped up over the course of a couple of hours. And then, and those fire, and then people were like, fuck it. And all hell
started
broke
lighting
loose.
everything.
Damn.
There you go. That's accurate. Yeah, that's literally what we. This is literally what you walked through when we were getting out of there. This is literally what it was, without question.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine. I mean, I've been to concerts. I've been to beach concerts. I've been to. It would never even cross my mind that something like that could even actually happen. You know what I mean? So, like, if I'd have went, I would have just been like, "Oh, this is gonna be great."
Yeah, we saw a kid that was on like scaffolding or it was a tower or something, and like I was telling you, they were throwing the pallets into this fire, building like a fire at the base of where this kid was standing. And I remember going through there with Bethany, thinking to myself, "Are we going to watch this kid die? Like, are we going?"
Was that
to
the middle? Was that the sound tower?
Yes.
That was the sound tower.
No, it was beyond that. It was in the middle area between the two stages.
Okay.
And in the vendor village.
Okay.
By the time we got through there, and this is after the Chili Peppers. And I just remember seeing this kid as we're walking through going, is this kid going to die? Like, are we going to see this kid fall off of this into this fire that's built, that's at the base of it? Like, it was scary.
I can only imagine that kid was. I mean, I don't think he would have been thinking clearly anyway, but he had to have been high or drunk as hell.
Or maybe
we now have a cat.
Okay.
Or maybe it would have been a fun idea to like climb to the top, but then you don't think for 2 seconds that they're gonna start a fire at the bottom. Like,
yeah, I get it. Like, and I thought about that. I'm like, this kid's like, fuck yeah, this is the best day of my life, and he's climbing the tower. Woo, Woodstock! He's like hammered, and I get that. Like the adrenaline, how fun that must have been. Oops, sorry about the cat.
Nope.
Wednesday doesn't care.
No, we do not. Cat kids, like it's cool.
We got them too.
Yep.
But then I imagine like this kid's up there, and all of a sudden he's like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
Ooh, this is not going. So this kid goes from elated to terrified in a handful of minutes. Imagine.
No, especially when you look down and from what you say, like there's literally just flames at the bottom of you. Like when you just look down, there's literally nowhere for you to go. Like
imagine that looking down right now.
No.
If I fall, I land in that.
Yeah. No, I'm looking down and very happy there's a rug underneath my feet.
Yeah. Yep. My feet are on the edge of a chair right now. So.
Yep.
Where did we get this? We have
I'm from Six Flags.
Oh, stick. Oh,
got
nice.
Got a little necklace.
Very nice.
I actually was contemplating your kid's question that you put up the other night about is it the Kraken or Megalodon?
Who wins, buddy? Kraken or Megalodon?
Kraken.
Can you hear him?
Kraken.
Yeah.
There was also some funny responses. Depends on the Kraken from which movie, how deep
that
is
was
the water.
I immediately went to that and like had to think about it for a good 20 minutes. And then I read your comment where it was like, he does not care or have time
for follow-up questions.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
No, just tell me who you think's going to win.
But I would go Kraken too. Not going to lie.
Ooh, Kraken.
Kraken.
They said Kraken too. They agree with you. Kraken.
Kraken is bigger.
Kraken is bigger. I don't know. Megalodon's a big shark, though, buddy.
Yeah, but
it's like
so many
shark.
legs. Kraken, so many legs.
True.
Megalodon and Kraken are extinct animals.
That's true, and their general mobility, and they're still a substantial size. So, yeah, they might be able to give Megalodon a run for his money.
I feel like the Kraken has better jiu-jitsu skills.
And
like, just do.
Win against Megalodon.
I can see your point, buddy. I definitely can see your point. So yeah, he knows. He's smarm. He's the smarm. Yeah,
he's got it.
He knows what's up.
I know everything.
Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. This was super cool.
No problem. We can revisit it sometime if you want, or I know you guys wanted to, or I know you wanted to do some sports stuff. So.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
are you not excited about New York football right now?
Like, wants to talk all the sports.
You're not excited about New York football right now.
I'm pumped. No, I have not looked forward to the Giants in a handful of
more
years.
ever.
It's not that I haven't looked forward to it. It's just that I ultimately know the season's going to be over by week 2 when
Right.
they're 0-2.
Yes.
They won a game and now they're 2-5.
Right. Yes.
Oh
Yep.
shit! 10 losses already. Here we go. Yeah. No. I just pray that Saquon and that crap gets put to bed and they jump on board, because I don't think you could have a better coach than they have right now.
No.
I think he's elite.
No, he's awesome.
I think he's the right coach for Daniel Jones. I think that they have fixed their issues. They have actually potential with an offensive line now. You've got a couple of anchors on the offensive line now, especially with Andrew Thomas. They haven't had that in right now. When was the last time they had that? It's been more than a decade.
Even for Eli.
You have an elite weapons potentially on offense now. I mean, definitely with Saquon, but Jalen Hyatt, the kid, see what that kid can do. Plus, they have depth in the receiver room. They have depth. They have depth at running back now.
Yep.
Just had the interior defensive line rated on paper best in the NFL.
That's what I'm excited about. Is our defense. I'm so excited about that.
That's what will win them games.
Yeah, it was what was winning them games last year.
Can we hang on? Please don't.
Oh, you guys can't wait to talk about sports. She needs a friend to talk about sports with. I do my best, but I ain't got it like that.
I told Colleen a couple of days ago, I was like, I am the only lesbian in New York that doesn't have a dude friend to talk sports with. I just don't have one. Like, I don't know why.
Well, you got a BIL. BIL.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
Right. Well,
Thank you guys.
Hit me up. We'll do this. We'll do the sports talk soon.
I appreciate y'all.
We love you.
Have a great night.
And I'll see you in person soon. I'm coming up in a couple days, so
you'll get the boy.
Yeah.
Hope everybody that watches enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, us too. So
thanks for waiting for me for a few minutes to get everything situated.
No worries. No worries. Parent life, we know. We know. So
all right, love you.
All right, love you too. Bye.
Bye, guys. Oh, hey.
Any last words?
That was so freaking cool. Jeff, how excited are you right now? Are you just like pumped to the max?
My excited face right here.
That's your whole excited face?
Oh, they're still here.
Oh, okay.
He didn't leave the stream. He just left the studio.
Yeah, I'll get it.
So he can hear us, but we can't hear him anymore.
Oh, are you trying to say? Oh, there you go. No, it was good. It was good.
I was so happy to see him. That was super awesome. And I really wanted to know if it was really like that. So
well, if he said compared to the documentary, and I only saw parts of it, but if he said compared to the documentary, it was worse. Like,
bro,
that's a huge perspective. So
yeah, it was super cool, guys.
I believe it.
It was fun. I'm gonna have to get him again. He said he would do the sports talk, which I'm super excited for. So in like a couple weeks or so, if he wants to jump back on, I'll be super excited for that too.
You're so excited. I don't think you're gonna be able to wait a couple weeks. So
no, we have families. We're waiting a couple weeks. All right, guys. Thanks for all the love.
Bye, guys.
Bye.